What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Ben Ballion, back with another episode of the Sports Pod. And in today's episode, I'm going to talk about if the Giants really made a mistake in squandering away the number one overall pick. I'll get into all of it on the other side of the intro. Hit it.
DiVincenzo at three. Bang! Bang! At the wall, he jumps. It's gone. He did it. He did it. Pete Alonso with the most memorable home run of his career.
All right, getting into the episode, and let's just start with how everything went wrong in this game. And the Giants won this game, by the way. They beat the Indianapolis Colts 45-33. But everything went wrong for the Giants. The formula was so simple. You lose this game and then you lose next week against the Eagles. You get the top pick and then you let Joe Schoen go to work. But no, we want to put up 45 points. When was the last time the Giants put up 45 points? I couldn't tell you. This is just... It doesn't make sense. It's unintelligent, it's dumb, and it's ignorant. It's ignorant. Everybody in that locker room knows that if they lose the next two games, they're going to have the top pick. Everybody who's going to be back next year, Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Drew Phillips, Tyrone Tracy, all those guys should want to lose. They should want a new quarterback, especially the offensive guys. But no, they go out there. Malik Neighbors has 171 receiving yards. It makes no sense. But for a guy like Drew Lock, I get it. He's not going to be a Giant next year. He doesn't care who they take in the draft. He's going to go try to get another contract. Maybe he gets a starting job. Most likely he'll be a backup, though. So he's got to put production on the field, and he's got to put film out there, and he's got to show teams that he can do it. But for the other guys, what are you doing? Malik Neighbors, do you want the rookie receiving record that bad that you're going to ruin the Giants franchise for another 5-6 years? Make it make sense. It was so simple. So simple, the Giants couldn't even lose. They had to find a way to mess it up somehow. And if they didn't mess it up by losing today, they were going to mess it up in the draft. They were going to get fleeced on a trade, or they were going to take somebody who's not going to pan out. But Shedeur Sanders wants to play for the Giants, and you couldn't even lose to be able to draft him. He wants to come here. What's the point of winning these games? Brian Daboll, you either know you're going to be back or you'd be gone by now. Because if John Mara saw that, if he knew that Brian Daboll was going to be gone and Brian Daboll knew it himself, he would have been fired already. There's no reason in keeping him around if he's going to get fired. Because he's going to try even harder to win football games to salvage his job. So if John Mara, you know you're going to fire Brian Daboll already, get it over with. Get him out of here. Let's bring in an interim coach. Let's maybe promote Shane Bowen. I don't know. And then he'll lose the two games. And then you guys will get the number one pick. But no, you lose this one. And you drop all the way down to the fourth pick. You were the top pick. It was tailor-made for you to have the number one overall pick. You played two teams that were in playoff contention coming in today. One team that won the NFC East today. Those are games you should be losing. Those are games, if it's week 1, week 2, maybe week 3 or 4, I'm okay with you losing because you're not a playoff team. And those teams are not really supposed to be for the Colts, but they're in contention for the playoffs. I'm fine if you lose that game on a normal week. But you got to go out there and win for no reason. There we go. Good job, boys. Good job. We really accomplished a lot with that win. There we go. That's what the Giants do. That's Giants football for you. And then all the teams next week that are ahead of them, the Browns, the Titans, New England, they're all going to lose next week. The Patriots play the Bills. I don't care that Mitch Trubisky's their starting quarterback. They are going to lose. They suck. The Browns are playing the Ravens. The Ravens still have seeding to play for. Lamar's going to play. The Titans play the Texans. Same situation there. They've got seeding to play for. And in the Ravens' case, they've got a division to play for. The Browns are absolutely going to lose, and the Titans are absolutely going to lose. The Patriots have the most plausible case to win that game, but I doubt it happens. It was so simple, and the Giants went out there today, and they messed it up. But I'll tell you this, I just had to get that off my chest. Because I do think it's going to end up being a mistake in the end. But I think there is a silver lining to it. And I think there is an aspect of that you could, in a case that you could make that it is sort of a good thing that they lost. Only one quarterback that was taken first overall has gone on to win a Super Bowl. And that quarterback was Peyton Manning. He was taken first overall in the 1998 draft. So that's the only guy that's won a Super Bowl. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's all right. And the last two drafts, the quarterback taken second ended up being better. And I think even though the Giants, as it stands right now, will be selecting at 4, they should get the second quarterback. They should get their pick between Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. Or not their pick, but they'll get one of Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. Because New England, they're not going to be looking for a quarterback. I think Drake May has shown you enough that you're good right now. Tennessee, they're going to be looking for a quarterback. Will Levis has not done a good enough job out there. The Browns, I don't know. I think they might be looking to replace Deshaun Watson, but there's also a part of me that thinks they're good with Deshaun. That he's not a problem, even though he's been hurt every like half the season for the last 2 years, more than half the season. So they might be drafting a quarterback. They also might not. There's a pretty good chance that the Giants end up taking their quarterback. They end up selecting a quarterback this year, whether that is Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. The other thing is that, and this is what I would have rather have happen, they get the number 1 pick and then they trade back. The team that would want a quarterback most out of the rest of the top 10 is the Las Vegas Raiders. And they're selecting at 8th overall right now. They were never going to jump from 8 to 1. So now, jumping from 8 to 4 is a lot less, it's a lot less incapable of happening. There's a chance that the Raiders jump from 8 to 4. I know it might be a stretch, but the Giants could trade back to 8. And if the Giants trade back to 8, they could draft the lineman from LSU. I wanted them to trade back and draft the lineman, top 10. And then you get an early, I don't know where Jackson Dart's the guy that I want to pick. I don't know where he's going to land right now. But I think you could get him with maybe a second-round pick. Maybe you trade your second-round pick and move up to middle of the first round, late in the first round. You could do whatever you want there. The Giants, they might not be in the worst situation. Not having the first overall pick might be a good thing, because they might be able to trade back a lot further than they would have been able to trade back if they had the number 1 overall pick. And that is a positive, because I think trading back 1 to 4, it was still too high to take a lineman, and there isn't really like a stud receiver this year besides Travis Hunter, and he's probably going to go top 3. My prediction on the people that'll go before the Giants pick, Travis Hunter 1, just because New England doesn't need a quarterback, and he's the best option after that. And they have so many needs. Getting an offensive and defensive player will really help them a lot. Tennessee will take a quarterback. They're gonna take Cam Ward. I don't really love Cam Ward right now because of what he did in the bowl game, and I think the college football has to do something with the NIL deals that players have to play bowl games. Like that has to be just like a write-in from the NIL deals, something in the fine print. But they're gonna take Cam Ward. Then you get to Cleveland, and I'm not completely sure who Cleveland's gonna draft. Let me see. I'm gonna look at a mock draft. Let's see who they were, who they're predicting the Browns to take, because the Browns were pretty high. Let me find a mock draft real quick. On Tankathon, let's go to their mock draft. They have it Travis Hunter 1, Shadur Sanders 2, Cam Ward 3. So they think that the Browns are going to be in the market for a quarterback. I'm not sold on that. I think the Browns will probably select another position on the field. Maybe it is Will Johnson out of Michigan. Maybe it's Mason Graham out of Michigan as well. Cornerback and a defensive lineman, because they've also got a lot of holes on their team. But they do need, like, I don't think they need the quarterback. Like, they could live with Deshaun Watson for another year and then see how that works out. So that's where I think Shadur Sanders will slip to 4 in the Giants. But I want the Giants to trade back to 8th and take Will Campbell out of LSU. I think that's the guy for the Giants to take. That's the guy that makes the most sense. An offensive lineman, the offensive line is your biggest hole right now. There's no way there's anything that you need more than an offensive lineman. And Will Johnson would immediately fill that need. He is a really good offensive lineman. If there's an offensive lineman projected to go in the top 10, that means they're like they're supposed to be otherworldly level. You could do that, and then I'm gonna look where they think Jackson Dart's gonna go, because that's the quarterback I want to take. I think the Giants, he might be the best, end up being the best quarterback, if not maybe the second best quarterback of this draft. But also with the quarterback, maybe the quarterback isn't in this draft. Maybe the quarterback is Sam Darnold, who will be a free agent if the Vikings decide to move off of him. Maybe it's Trevor Lawrence who becomes available in a trade. Maybe it's J.J. McCarthy if the Vikings decide to stick with Sam Darnold and trade J.J. McCarthy after he was out his rookie season. But that might be the route that the Giants take. That might be the way that they try to build their team. They try to upgrade their quarterback position, which outside the offensive line, that's what they need most. So yeah, Tankathon doesn't even have Jackson Dart going in the first round. So if the Giants can trade back, get a second round pick along with their own second round pick, they're in a good spot to take a quarterback. They are kind of in a prime position here if the Raiders are willing to move up to 4. And a lot of it is going to depend on what they think the Browns are going to do. Like I said, I don't think the Browns take a quarterback, but I'm not an inside source. The Raiders have sources, the Giants have sources, and they'll know. We're going to know what the Browns are going to do. Their plan will eventually get leaked. I don't think they probably don't have one yet selecting 3rd overall. I mean, they were, I don't know, probably 5th or 6th going into the day. But the Giants slide back 3 spots, and that's just what happened. So my thinking is, you could draft a top quarterback because they're gonna be there. The top 2 guys in Shadur Sanders and Cam Ward, or you could trade back. You could draft Jackson Dart and Will Campbell, or you could just draft Will Campbell and then try to sign Sam Darnold or trade for Trevor Lawrence or J.J. McCarthy. That's my thinking on the whole Giants situation. Yes, losing today sucks, or winning today sucks. It's not often that you can hear somebody say that. But there's an aspect of it that's good. So Giants fans should calm down, because they might end up, the Giants that is, in a better spot because of it. All right, we have one voicemail to play this episode. Let's listen to it right now.
What up, Ben? Bill from California here. What do you think about the Giants winning that game and possibly not getting the number 1 overall pick? And should they have Drew Lock as their main quarterback? Yeah.
All right, thanks for the call, Bill. I just told you what I think. I think it's bad that they're not going to get the one, and they won a game that they shouldn't have won. It sucks, but it's going to end up, it might end up being well. It might end up being better for the Giants to not get that number one. Maybe get the number 4, maybe get the number 3. Because there are more options out of that spot than there are the number 1 spot. Like at the number 1, there's only 3 teams that are willing, that would be able to trade up for you. Now the Giants have 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 teams that would be willing to trade up. So the Giants could slide back. There's so much more flexibility out of the spot. And they have a lot more flexibility with their quarterback situation. And then the second part of your call, Drew Lock should absolutely not be the starting quarterback moving forward. That is a ridiculous take if anybody thinks it is. He has been so bad this year, besides this game. He threw 2 interceptions, 2 picks, 6s last week against the Falcons. The Falcons are in contention for the playoffs. But Drew Lock moving forward? No, absolutely not. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. If you enjoyed, please consider following or subscribing and liking the episode. If you want to have your voice heard on the Sports Pod, just like Bill from California, you could do so by leaving a voicemail at 848-305-8073. And last but not least, make sure you check out all my socials linked in the description below. And make sure you keep it locked with the Sports Pod.